Hey guys, this is Steve, Cookout Coach. I'm running into a little technical difficulty, so I have to sort of go on the fly here, but I'm going to go ahead and pull us up in chat over here on my computer so I can see what's going on. But yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Let's see. There we go. Make sure I'm muted. All right, cool. Um, hey, yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on and do this live stream. The past few months have been pretty busy for me. I've kept up with like 2 videos a month, but I recorded some of those way early because I knew some things were coming down the pike. Daddy Dash, what's up, Kent? How's it going, buddy? Um, but yeah, so I guess I'll just go ahead and start with that. So back at the end of July, one of my daughters had to go have some surgery. We knew it was coming, and just right off the bat, everything's fine. Um, but I've been pretty much absent from the YouTube game from the end of July through just the end of last month. Um, yeah, and we came home for a while, and I thought we were good, and that's I threw out in the community tab that I thought maybe we'd sit down and do one of these and talk about some things, and we ended up going back to the hospital for a bit. So I didn't get around to getting to do that. So I figured today was a pretty good day to go ahead and take that time and do it. Let's see, Pickles there. Hey, Scott, Jacqueline, Dad. How's it going, everybody? It's been a long day. Um, Let me go ahead and start off with. I wanted to talk about what we've been doing competition wise this year because last year I felt like it was a big part of the YouTube channel. And this year, I haven't really talked about it just because last year when I tried to film those competitions, and I tried to film some of the competitions we've done this year, they just didn't go that well. You're not kidding, Pickles. Life comes first for sure. But we should be done with that. We should be in the clear. Everything's cool. School year started back up. Everything's pretty much back to normal. Um, so it's back to filming stuff, and I've got some pretty cool ideas coming up. But we'll see how those pan out. But yeah, so like I said, last year I tried to film some videos of competitions, and they just didn't come out good. I've got some ideas on how to film those better, but I can't really do it by myself. What's up, Bill? Chicken fried barbecue. At least not by myself with my current camera setup. If I Like I said, I think I've got some ideas, and we might try it at the last competition we're going to do this year. But so far this year, we've done 5 competitions, and you guys, I don't think have seen footage from any of them. But we started off in May, I believe, of this year, and we just competed in August was the last one that we did. So, we've been going pretty much one a month, or at least averaging one a month. And so far, I this is gonna sound a little bit ridiculous. And Scott, yeah, you're not kidding. Kent. Capturing videos is impossible by yourself in competition. But this is gonna sound way worse than I mean it to sound, and I don't mean it like this at all. But I came into the season thinking I was gonna be a little bit more dominant in the area than I ended up being, which is actually a great thing because um, the scores this year in the KCBS backyard division in my area have just been off the charts. Like normally in our area at least, typically what you would see is if someone scores a combined score over 330 ish, they're in they're solid for they're a solid contender for the grand championship or at least a reserve grand championship. There have been at least 2, maybe 3 of the 5 competitions I've done where clear out to 5th place, everyone was up above a 330. So that speaks for what the governing bodies have been doing, what a lot of the pitmasters have been doing, even to grow the sport for the smaller guys like myself, um, and get them out there. And there's a lot of frequent flyers at these things. Like I said, I've done 5. I know several other guys who've done 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5. Um, So yeah, it's actually really great. What's up, Ron? How's it going, buddy? And one of those guys who absolutely handed me my lunch one day is Scott, who's in the chat here. Holy cow, did he just beat the pants off of me in my own backyard, nonetheless. But well, good. So we started off this year in Hagerstown, and we actually ran into Rich from Rich's River Smokers, West Virginia. We ran into Rich a lot this year. It's great. And that was a 32 team backyard competition. And at that one, we ended up scoring pretty high. We didn't break 330, but we did take a second place chicken call, and we took third place overall in that one. And that was the first comp of the season. So we knocked the rust off of that one and came out pretty okay. The next one was a 21 team competition, and that was like 5 hours from my house. That was a long way to go for a comp, but it was a large turnout, and we ended up taking a third place chicken there, and we reserve grand champ that one. So that was our first reserve grand championship, and we got our absolute pants beat off of us by the team that granted it. And I've yet to find them. So if anybody knows who Poultrygeist is in the Pennsylvania area, tell those guys to look me up because they absolutely beat the snot out of me. Whew. Um, After the air conditioner just kicked on, so if anybody thinks that's too loud, let me know and I'll turn it off. But after that comp, we did Almost Heaven in West Virginia. I'm sorry, the Almost Heaven Barbecue Bash. West Virginia Almost Heaven Barbecue Bash. Sorry about that. And that's right in my backyard. And I came into that one feeling pretty good. We just came off for RGC, and it came time for awards. And it was only like a 10-ish team comp, I think. A little bit smaller, but there were some good guys there. And we went into awards, and we got our first place category call. We got first place chicken. Our chicken's always pretty high scoring. We typically score at 170, give or take a point or two, plus or minus. That was our first category, first place. So we went into it feeling pretty good, and we ended up just botching our ribs hard. Hey Ron, I'm not going pro for a while. It's just a little bit of that, and I've still got a lot to learn because I still haven't figured ribs out yet. We ended up taking a fourth place rib, and the scores were so tight that even with the first place chicken and a fourth place rib, my buddy Scott over here in the chat just demolished us, and we ended up fourth overall. And Scott, congratulations on his first backyard grand championship at that one. So after that one, I was intending on taking some time off, but really, fourth place was the lowest that we'd ever placed in a competition outside of the Jack Daniels. And so I found one in Delta, Pennsylvania that was having a backyard, and we went up there. And again, it was another 5-hour drive. And I always tell my brother, who's the other part of the team whenever we're doing this, that 5 hours is a long way to drive to get your teeth kicked in. It's sort of a running joke with us. And so we went up there, and we had a pretty decent showing. It was a hot weekend. Oh, man, it was hot. But we pulled off a third place chicken, a third place rib, and a first place overall. So that was our first ever grand championship. And it felt like, again, this sounds terrible, but it felt like it was a long time coming. But for a backyard team, we'd been on the road a lot this year. Sort of trying to just keep learning as we go, keep trying to improve. And we didn't have, well, I guess we did have pretty decent scores there. Bill, so like, how cheap it is, it really all depends on where you're going and what you need. So I don't know what you guys are paying for ICBA comps, but up here, like running, well, it should be about the same down there. If you run KCBS, KCBS comp up here will cost you somewhere in the realm of $200 to $300, depending on how big of a rig you need to get in there. If you need electric, if you need 50 amp power, but a general entry fee into a pro comp is going to run you somewhere between 200 and 250, and then you've got 125 to 200. Okay, Bill. So those are like my backyard fees. So I haven't paid less than 125 to enter a backyard, and I paid like 220 at Almost Heaven because Um, the organizer had that one at a resort this year. It was a super nice competition, but it was a little pricey. But it was at a really nice resort. Um, and I paid for extra space because I knew I was bringing an RV down to hang out. Because if you could bring an RV down to hang out at the barbecue comp, I'm definitely for it. Um, but then, Bill, are you guys running like Wagyu briskets down there for your IBCA stuff? Because that's where the pros really get into some price. Because chicken isn't that expensive. There you go. So Ron just did his first pro comp a little bit ago, and it cost him 500. But I know some of those pro guys. I mean, depending on what kind of rig you're dragging, you can get into $1,000 easy for KCBS stuff. And a lot of that's just in the meat cost. But sounds like your IBCA stuff is going to run about the same as my KCBS backyard stuff. Who else I missed? Ron Bullens. Yeah, we haven't done bad this year. We have had trouble with our ribs. Let's see, Daddy Dutch. Where's it at, Ken? I'll get into what I have scheduled for the rest of the year, but I'm always in for throwing a wrench in my plans. But yeah, so we've been sort of chasing these ribs. A lot of guys run. Yeah, so that's where a lot of the cost for pro is, Bill. But $125 to $200, that's a nice entry fee for you guys. Yeah, it's really not bad. I always wonder what that stuff was, or what the IBCA costs were. But so we got our first GC, and it was a G. It was. I always tell people the way I pick barbecue comps are one, who's going to be there, because I want to go play against guys I know that can bring the heat. It doesn't matter if you win if you're the only guy there. You know what I mean? The second way I pick is who has the coolest trophies, because I love barbecue trophies. And York had these. If I was at home, I'd show you, but York had slate printed trophies, so it's a big piece of slate. And then the last thing is, how much money is there, because I'd like to try to recoup as much as I can. But at York, it was cool because they had the coolest trophies I've seen all year, and we got to take home 3 of those, so that was fun. And that was our 4th comp of the year. Usually get a 30 by 40 spot with the entry fee. That's a really good price, Bill. That's hard to beat. That's beating the crap out of KCBS dollars right now. What's up, Richie Barbecue? I just saw you the other day. Welcome to the channel. So that was the 4th one. We finally got our first grand championship. And then we walked into one that's not far from my house. I seem to have trouble with comps that are close to my house. Because we were there and like half the guys were new, and it was only 8 teams. It wasn't that many teams there, and a lot of them hadn't really competed before. And so we go in there, and we had a cook, and I thought it was an excellent cook, really. I thought it was the best chicken we turned in all year. I thought the ribs were the best ribs we turned in all year. I thought for sure that we had it in the bag, to be honest with you. And they start calling, and they call chicken for 3rd place, and I just looked at my brother and I went, oh, that can't be good. Because we normally just place high, and this was a smaller comp anyways. And then they called us for ribs, and we placed like 5th, and I was just like, oh, Lord, here we go. So this tiny little competition, and we ended up taking another 4th place finish, which we scored a 330. We scored high. But my buddy, another buddy who, I don't know if he's in here or not, but Travis, he runs a barbecue team called Golden Blue Barbecue. He just knocked it out of the park with like a 341. Just left everybody else in the dust and got his first grand. So it's been a great year on the trail. Like I said, I've had several of my friends get their first grand. Scott, Travis. I've met some good people. And we've got one more coming up. We're taking the month of September off and most of the month of October off. And we're going to do one called the BBQ in Weissville, Virginia, the last weekend of October. You're exactly right, Bill. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just the table you land on. Numbers-wise, we didn't have the best finish that comp, but man, I was super happy with the food that we turned in there. It was great. I was really, really happy with it. So that leads to what's going on now. Um, we're still doing the normal videos, getting about, but what I want to do is I kind of want to play with a few different kinds of smokers. And sorry about that. Excuse me. This all started because I didn't draw the jack. That's another thing that happened to me while I was away for medical reasons from my kiddo. We found out we didn't draw the jack, so that's a bummer. So all that means to me is I'm staying backyard one more year. So I'm going to save a little bit more money because I want another shot at the Jack Daniel's Shade Tree next year. And in the meantime, we're going to try to help grow our area's backyard through awareness and just helping folks out and helping other folks get into it. But before I was going to go down to the Jack, I was kind of thinking about picking up a new smoker for comps specifically. Specifically, y'all, it's no secret I love the Myron Mixed H2Os. Everybody knows that. That's been on this channel at all. And there was a used one that popped up on the Facebook Marketplace, and I asked about it, but I asked slightly too late, so it was already gone. But I kind of got to thinking about what my competition setup is and what it will be and what that sort of affords me space-wise. And essentially what it boiled down to was I need a setup. If I'm going to change my setup, it has to be something that can fit into the bed of a truck. Because if I bring an RV or a pop-up camper, it's going to be a tongue pulled setup. So pretty much the only space for smokers is in the bed of the truck. So what I sort of decided to do, what we're going to build is I'm going to build one square ugly drum smoker. So if you've seen any of the, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can Google a company called Riptangle Smokers. They're out of the Missouri area somewhere, I think. And what they do is they build theirs is more rectangular, hence the name Riptangle, rectangle. And it kind of looks like a big rolling dumpster a big rolling trash can. But with that square design, it's super efficient for space. And, I kind of looked at it and said, okay, well, if I go pro, at different times during the cook, I've got 4 racks of ribs on the grill. I've got 2 butts. I've got Bill, it's funny you mentioned that. I saw that. Is that raffle still going on? Because I saw that while I was in the hospital, I think, and didn't have time to buy a ticket. But yeah, so pro, what I would run is 1 brisket, 2 butts, 4 racks ribs, 16 pieces of chicken, and I do everything in pans. So 16 pieces of chickens to me, just quick barbecue math. That's 2 foil pans, 2 butts, 2 foil pans, 1 briskets, 1 foil pan, a half pans. So I kind of got thinking, well, if I built 2 of those those square ugly drum smokers, that would cover everything for competition needs. Hey man, watching your channel has really helped my barbecue skills. Great, I'm glad to hear that. That really is awesome. Cool, but I'll have to take a look at that and see what's going on. He's only selling like 1,000 of those, I think, so it's pretty good. Hey, Hobo, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that's the other thing that happened that I sort of ignored was we hit 4,000 subs on the channel, which we're coming up on 2 years in December, so we're not the fastest out there, but it's still really cool, and I appreciate everybody who comes and watches and has been a part of that. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Going back to the smoker, so what my brother and I decided to do is we're going to go ahead and fabricate one. We're going to document all that. It's going to be a series on the channel, and yeah, we're going to build 1 square ugly drum smoker, and we'll test it out in October at that competition and see how we like it. And if we like it, we might build another, or we might build something else. We played with the idea of building a H2O style cooker, but I thought maybe an ugly drum would just be an easier first step into the whole smoker building thing. And I think it'll make for some cool videos. At least I love watching. Thanks, Jacqueline. I love watching guys like Dash build drums and other cookers, and I love watching smoker cooker builds. So we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see what we think about it. Barbecue Grill Master. Hey, Big Rome. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. It's been a little crazy. This weekend, I think I'm going to do a video on comparing competition drumsticks to competition thighs, and then we'll get back into more like fall type recipes and this, that, football recipes and that kind of thing. But it's been kind of a crazy competition season. We definitely haven't had quite the luck that we thought we would have, but it hasn't been a bad run at all. Let me scoot this over here. Ron, I've been wanting to try a drum smoker. We're still running 22 WSMs. So that's the other funny thing, Ron, is I still have two 22-inch WSMs, and for all intents and purposes, a Weber Smoky Mountain is just a drum that comes apart in different pieces. That's one thing I find that's so funny about the 22 WSMs. And I was like, well, I could just tape that thing shut and try it out to see if I like it as a drum. But what it came down to was I know I like the Weber Smoky Mountain, and I run it just like a drum anyways. I run it with a dry water pan, so it's essentially my water pan is my heat diverter, and you get great barbecue off of it. And so at a certain point, it stopped being a question of do I like it, because I know I like the food off of that. And it became an efficiency test of, well, I don't, it's not that I don't want to, it's that I wouldn't feel comfortable dropping super cash on a barbecue setup right now for competitions. So, and I also kind of like having a smaller setup and playing with or beating teams with bigger setups. It's kind of funny to me. Um, Enjoyable. It's kind of like you're playing the underdog. And so, that's kind of where the square drums came in. Was just, it was the super efficient space aspect of it. And then you see guys like Bill over at Chicken Fried down there in Texas tearing it up on IBCA with his drums. And Bill actually already talked to Ugly Drum Smokers Texas about getting a few of his square intakes and exhausts that he put on the most recent drum he did a video for you on. Yeah, that's what. As soon as I saw him post his little highlight reel of the drum that he just built for you, I sent him a message immediately. I said, "Hey, where'd you get those square intakes? We've been thinking about buying a trailer and putting an awning on it. Seems like we keep bringing more and more to comps." Yeah, that's the other part of the competition. What's up, David? Um, that's the other part of the competition thing is you've got to figure out how to do your accommodations. And for instance, there's been three competitions I think that my brother and I have slept in the truck at this year, which works, but man, it's not comfortable. It's a little rough. So I think in the off season this year, I might try. I don't know why, but I'm kind of thinking about going with a pop up camper. Um, yeah, I don't know why that's the route that I'm going in my head, but thanks, David. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So that would make next year a pop up camper, which in KCBS, normally you get a 10 by 20 spot, so a pop up camper would fit in a 20-foot spot, and then my other stuff, my smokers would still be outside, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Uh, if anybody has any suggestions on a great small barbecue, like you can go with tents if you want, but setting up a tent, sleeping on the ground, sounds a little rough for me at this age. But we'll see. I'm a real beginner at barbecue. Hey, thanks. Was that Rigsby's Fishing Adventures? I'm glad you like the videos. That's great. If you need any help at any time, just reach out to either the channel or Facebook page or anything really, and we'll try to get you sorted as much as we can. But yeah, so I'm sort of busy through from now till October. We've got stuff going on. Of course, we're still doing our char griller stuff. Uh, Congrats on 4K. Thanks, Blind Grilling. Appreciate it. Which the char griller thing is awesome for the fall because those acorns just don't care about cold weather at all. I was thinking about doing one or two more beef. I'll say beef cooks. I haven't decided on what I want to do yet, but I want to run something on the Chargriller competition offset because I've got a really cool idea for a video, and I'm just not sure if I can pull it off yet. Essentially, I'll tell you guys because if one of you guys takes it and runs with it, then good for you, and let me know that you did it. But I want to film a video of like a time lapse of bark forming on meat to see what happens. Um, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet because you can't put a camera in a smoker. They not unless you buy a really special one. So I haven't figured it out yet. I'm gonna redneck engineer it somehow. I just haven't quite got it all the way figured out. But I want to get that done. And football season seems like a good time to cook a brisket or you know a chuck roast for chili. Or I've got a lot of options. We'll say it like that. What's up, CJ? How's it going, brother? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to hop on here, say thanks for the help of the 4,000 subs. CJ, appreciate it, brother. Actually, CJ was coming on your show was probably a big part of me getting to 4,000. Got me out there in front of some more people. Appreciate all the help. Let's see, who was that? Was a bunch of people there. Uh, Thomas from Michigan. I struggle with bark. That video would help. I think it would be a really cool video. Like, we all have a decent idea of how bark forms, but I think if we can actually get a video of the bark forming, time lapsing, seeing where it's coming from and where it's forming at, I think that'd be super neat. You ever make fajitas? Honestly, not real often. We could definitely do that though. Are you going to the American Royal? I am not. I have several friends who are going to the American Royal. Um, it's on my list, but like, I look at competition barbecue kind of like golf majors, if that makes any sense. So you've got like the Royal, the Jack, Memphis and May, Plumber's Camera Snake in the Bay. So Richie Barber, funny you mentioned that. I thought about not necessarily that one, but a snake camera for an automotive snake camera, one designed to get down into engines or around engines while they're running. That's one of the options. Because you gotta have light too, and those things have lights built into them. So I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, so like to me, the Royal is one of the big majors in barbecue, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just so many people. It's also pretty far away from me, but maybe. Well, it's definitely on the list for the future, but not until we go pro at least, because there's no backyard for that one. However, I am sort of trying to figure out how to do Memphis and May's backyard division next year. It's not cheap at all, and it's not close to me, so I'd have to travel. But I'm sort of trying to figure that one out. So, no to the Royal, yes to a few other big comps. We'll try to figure out how to do. 5 hours from your house, Dutch. Let's see. So, Kansas City. I've been through Kansas City once, but never as a straight shot. So I know that like Springfield, Missouri is roughly 13 hours from my house, Dutch. So if someone does the math and says, well, if you go from Springfield to Kansas City, how far is it? But it's a long way. Either way, no matter how you slice it. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We've got a smoker build coming up for you. I've got a crazy weird video I'm trying to film with watching. Literally, we're going to watch bark form, Some people make fun of watching paint dry. I think watching bark form sounds like a cool video. So, I'm going to try to get that one out. And maybe I'll try to actually make a decent competition video for the last comp that I have scheduled. Unless Daddy Dutch has... So here's the problem, Dutch, is I can't I can't enter the open and keep my amateur status. 5K. Oh, you had me excited for a second, Bill. I thought you knew something I didn't know. Whew. But yeah, Dutch. That's really the only reason. And with KCBS, you can compete, and as long as you don't grand champ it or reserve grand champ it, you keep your amateur status. But there's real specific rules for the Jack Daniel's Shade Tree, and that's really what I want to do. Like that to me is the Jack is my favorite of the big ones. The Jack in Memphis, and so I'm really trying to keep amateur status purely for that. But yeah, no, we'll definitely come out and we'll run it. And I don't know, I can't tell you when, but when we do, I'll definitely let you know. You can come down. We'll hang out and cook together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to stop by, say thank you, let you know what we had coming down the pike, and you know, thank you so much for all being a part of this. This is a lot of fun and it's real awesome. So I'm gonna turn in for the night and come to Iowa September 28th. September 28th. That's right around the corner. Where's that at, Dutch? Like, what's the town? Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man. It's 4K is. I don't know. I never thought about getting here. Like, I always focused on 1,000, and then that just happened. Lamar's, Iowa. Is it KCBS or is it just a backyarder? Like, just a unsanctioned backyard? Hey, you too, Bill. Take it easy, brother. Hey, Dutch, if I can find it, I might try to do it. It's 34. We all had 34 one time, man. You just keep grinding, you'll get there with subs. KCBS judging my own section. I'll look it up and see how far it is from me. If it's not too far, I might try it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the hay, get a good night's sleep, get up, do some work tomorrow, and then this weekend we'll be back filming videos, babe. Till then, y'all take it easy, man. Appreciate every one of you.